It's science fiction, guys. Get over yourselves. Hello, welcome to Sound and Fairy Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing my 20 anticipated 2023 sci-fi fantasy titles. Basically, these are just a bunch of books that are coming out next year in the sci-fi fantasy genre. I figured I would share them with you so you could, put them on your TBR if you want. I'm just going to read kind of what they're about. Now, before I start, I've been asked by a friend to share a book coming out in the summer of 2024. It's not a sci-fi fantasy, but it's a very cool horror book that I got a sneak peek at, and it's really fun if you like witches and cults and Rosemary's Baby, as well as ghosts and creepy old people. It's not up for pre-order yet, but add it on Goodreads, please. And don't worry, when it comes out, I'll talk about it again that month, so in case you forget about it. But here's what it's about. Newlywed Sam has always wanted to be part of a normal, happy family. When her mother-in-law falls ill, Sam dutifully moves her family to Edenic Camila Island to care for her. The island residents, namely the older women, welcome Sam and her daughter Emma with open arms, endless cocktails, and plenty of superstition. It seems perfect until it's not. The house next to her mother-in-law's is creepy. Not only that, it's where Ben's first wife died. Sam's teen daughter Emma isn't interested in spending the summer in Camilla. It gets even worse when Emma starts to see things, knowing that there are ghosts trying to warn her of something. But what? Despite Emma's pleas, Sam doesn't want to rock the boat with her new family. Emma won't pretend nothing is happening, especially as the messages become more grim and frequent. What secrets are buried on Camilla Island? And why are all the residents keen on keeping them quiet? Ooh. So yeah, that's coming out in the summer. So moving on, my most anticipated book next year is obviously The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan. This is the conclusion to the Empire of the Wolf trilogy. I absolutely loved The Justice of Kings and what is it called? It's coming out in February, so I can spend Valentine's Day with Fawnville. Yay. Have I requested on NetGalley? Of course I have. Will they give it to me? I mean, I hope they do. If not, I'm going to probably beg the author and the publisher for an arc. If not, I'll probably just buy it. But yeah, so I'd rather review it early. So these books to follow, I will definitely be reviewing because I got them on NetGalley already. I'll be reviewing them 2 weeks or so before they come out, but here's what they are all about. So we have Exodia by Seth Dickinson. Oceansgari, refugee, survivor, genocide, disaffected office worker, has a close encounter that reveals universe-threatening stakes. While humanity reels from disaster, she must join a small team of civilians, soldiers, and scientists to investigate a mysterious broadcast and unknowable horror. If they can manage to face their own demons, they might just save the world. The reason I wanted to read this one was because I saw, Tor posted like a picture of this demon woman on their Instagram and was like, character from this book, and I was like, what? This sounds cool. So I added that one. I'm going to be reading that one soon because it comes out in January. The next one is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wishwell. So this one is a creepy, charming, monster-slaying fantasy romance. Shishi Shen has made a mistake fatal to all monsters. She's fallen in love. Shishi Shen is a shapeshifter who happily resides as an amorphous lump at the bottom of a ruined manor. When her rest is interrupted by hunters intent on murdering her, she constructs a body from the remains of past meals. A metal chain for a backbone, borrowed bones for limbs, and a bear trap as an extra mouth. However, the hunters chase Shishi Shen out of her home and off a cliff. Badly hurt, she's found and nursed back to health by Homily, a warm-hearted human who has mistaken Shishi Shen as a fellow human. Homily is kind and nurturing and would make an excellent co-parent, an ideal place to lay Shishi Shen's eggs so their young could devour Homily from the inside out. But as they grow close, she realizes humans don't think about love that way. It goes on, but it sounds really fun. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds great. The next one is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. It's a time travel romance, a speculative spy thriller, and a workplace comedy. In the near future, a civil servant is offered the salary of her dreams and is, shortly afterward, told what project she'll be working on. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible, for the body, but also for the fabric of space-time. She's tasked with building a bridge, living with, assisting, and monitoring the expat known as 1847, or Commander Graham Gore. As far as history is concerned, Commander Gore died on Sir John Franklin's doomed 1845 expedition to the Arctic, so he's a little disoriented to be living with an unmarried woman who regularly shows her calves, surrounded by outlandish concepts such as washing machines, Spotify, and the collapse of the British Empire. But he adjusts quickly. He is, after all, an explorer by trade. Soon, what the bridge initially thought would be at best a seriously uncomfortable housemate dynamic evolves into something much more. Over the course of an unprecedented year, Gora and the bridge fall haphazardly, fervently in love, with consequences they could never have imagined. That seems like a bit of a spoiler, but I'm still I'm still down for it. The next one is The Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. Welcome to the Grand Abiona Hotel, home of the finest food, the sweetest service, and the very best views the galaxy has to offer. All year round, it moves from planet to planet, system to system, pampering guests across the furthest reaches of the Milky Way. The last word in suborbital luxury and an absolute magnet for intrigue. Intrigue such as, why are there love poems in the lobby inbox? How many Imperial spies are currently on board? What is the true purpose of the Problem Solvers Conference? And most importantly, who is driving the ship? So it's like a cozy mystery. I love cozy mysteries. They're fun, especially when they're in space. Next is Lost Ark Dreaming by Sui Davies Okaboa. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry. The brutally engineered class divisions of Snowpiercer meets Rivers Solomon's The Deep in this high-octane post-climate disaster novella. Ooh. On the coast of West Africa, decades after the dangerous rise of the Atlantic Ocean, the region's survivors live inside 5 partially submerged, kilometers-high towers originally created as a playground for the wealthy. Those bastards. Now, the tower's most affluent rule from their lofty perch at the top, while the rest are crammed into the dark, fetid floor below sea level. There are also those who are left for dead in the Atlantic, only to be reawakened by an ancient power, and who seek vengeance on those who offered them up to the waves. Ooh. I love this. I love Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer, I think, is one of my favorite shows. It's stupid, but I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun. The next one is The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. Lee Mandello is the author of Summer Suns, and another one I read this year about wolves. I can't remember the title. Leslie Bruin is assigned to the backwoods township of Spar Creek by the Frontier Nursing Service under his usual mandate: vaccinate the flock, birth babies, and weather the judgments of churchy locals who look at him and see a failed woman. Forged in the fires of the Western Front and reborn in the cafes of Paris, Leslie believes he can handle whatever's thrown at him. But Spar Creek holds a darkness beyond his nightmares. Oh, also, this is set in 1920s Appalachia. It's set in the 20s. Something ugly festers within the local congregation, and its malice is focused on a young person they insist is an unruly tomboy who must be brought to heel. Violence is bubbling when Leslie arrives, ready to spill over, and he'll have to act fast if he intends to be of use. But the hills enfolding Spar Creek have a mind of their own. And the woods are haunted in ways Leslie does not understand. I have really, really loved both books that Lee Mandello has written, so I'm really excited about this one. It sounds fantastic and sad. It's also a novella, which I like because they're short. The next one is also a novella. It's called Grey Dog by Elliot Gish. So this is kind of more of like a horror. The year is 1901, and Ada Bird, spinster schoolmarm amateur naturalist, accepts a teaching post in isolated Lowry Bridge, grateful for the chance to reestablish herself where no one knows her secrets. She develops friendships with her neighbors, explores the woods with her students, and begins to see a future in this tiny farming community. Her past, riddled with grief and shame, has never seemed so far away. But then Ada begins to witness strange and grisly phenomena: a swarm of dying crickets, a self-mutilating rabbit, a malformed fawn. She soon believes that something odd and beastly, which she calls Grey Dog, is behind these visceral offerings, which both beckon and repel her. As her confusion deepens, her grip on what is real, what is a delusion, what is traumatic memory loosens, and Ada takes on the wilderness of the woods, behaving erratically and pushing her newfound friends away. In the end, she's left with one question: what is real horror? The Grey Dog, the uncontainable power of female rage, or Ada herself? Cool. The next one is 381 by Aelia Whiteley. So it's a literary crossover novels about the pressures of growing up and the nature of authorship. In January 2314, Rowena Savalas, a curator of the vast archive of the 21st century's primitive internet, stumbles upon a story posted in the summer of 2024. She's quickly drawn into the mystery of the text. Is it autobiography, fantasy, or fraud? What's the significance of the reoccurring number 381? In the story, the protagonist fairly walks the Horned Road, a quest undertaken by youngsters in her village when they come of age. She is followed by the Breathing Man, a looming presence dogging her heels every step of the way. Everything she's been taught about her world is overturned. Following Fairley's quest, Rowena comes to question her own choices, and a predictable life of curation becomes one of exploration, adventure, and love. As both women's stories draw to a close, she realizes it doesn't matter whether the story is true or not. As with the quest itself, it's the journey that matters. That seems kind of spoilery. But anyway, I hate these spoilery blurbs. So this one is not a sci-fi fantasy. It's kind of a speculative fiction. You know, that's when people like to not say it's a sci-fi because it's a literary fiction. So it's called I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Enger. Set in a not too distant America, so a sci-fi, I Cheerfully Refuse is the tale of a bereaved and pursued musician embarking under sail on a sentient Lake Superior in soup of his departed, deeply beloved book-selling wife. Rainy, an endearing bear of an Orphean narrator, seeks refuge in the harbors, fogs, and remote islands of the inland sea. Encountering lunatic storms and rising corpses from the warming depths, Rainy finds on land an increasingly desperate and illiterate people, a malignant billionaire ruling class, crumbled infrastructure, and a lawless society. Amidst the gulliver-like challenges of life at sea and no safe landings, Rainy is lifted by physical beauty, surprising humor, generous strangers, and an unexpected companion in a young girl who comes aboard. There's a little bit more, but yeah, so this is a literary fiction. It sounds really interesting, and I'm super into it. The cover's really cool. I like the burning in the background. The next one is Red Sight by Meredith Mooring. Corinna has simple priorities: stay on the Navitas, stay out of trouble, and stay alive. She may be a red seer, a blind priestess with the power to manipulate space-time, but she's the weakest in her order. Useless and outcast, or so she has been raised to believe. As she takes her place as a navigator on an Imperium ship, Corinna's full destiny is revealed to her. Blood brimming with magic, she is meant to become a weapon of the Imperium and a pawn for the order that raised her. But when the ship is attacked by the notorious pirate Aster Heron, Corinna's world is ripped apart. Aster has a vendetta against the Imperium and an all-consuming dark power that drives her to destroy everything in her path. She understands the world in a way Corinna has never imagined, and Corinna is drawn to her against her better judgment. So, is there gonna be a love story? I guess. The next is Oceansgari by Elaine Yu Chow. Look at that cover. That cover's beautiful. Becky Chambers meets Firefly. Ocean Yoon has never felt like much of a Korean, even as she's descended from a long line of Henyao. I'm sorry. Jeju Island's beloved female divers. She's also persona non grata at the Alliance, Korea's solar system dominating space agency, since the mission went awry and she earned a reputation for being a little too quick with her gun. When her best friend Chao, second son of the Anand tech empire, is framed for murdering his family, Ocean and her misfit crewmates are pushed to the forefront of a high-stakes ideological conflict. But dodging bullets and winning space chases may be the easiest part of what comes next. So this is like an adventure. I will obviously be looking up how to pronounce things when I make this review. I'm sorry about that. The next is The Morningside by Thea Obrecht. There's the world you can see, and then there's the one you can't. Welcome to the Morningside. After being expelled from their ancestral home in a not-so-distant future, Sylvia and her mother finally settle at the Morningside, a crumbling luxury tower in a place called Island City, where Sylvia's Aunt Enna serves as the superintendent. Sylvia feels unmoored in her new life because her mother has been so diligently secretive about her family's past, and because the once vibrant city where she lives is now half underwater. Sylvia knows almost nothing about the place where she was born and spent her early years, nor does she fully understand why she and her mother had to leave. But Enna there is an opening, a person willing to give the young girl glimpses into the folktales of her demolished homeland, a place of natural beauty and communal spirit that is lacking in Sylvia's lonely and impoverished reality. There's more stuff. But yeah, this one seems kind of like one of those soft kind of books. We'll see. Got two more here. The Other Valley by Scott Alexander Howard. 16-year-old Odile is an awkward, quiet girl vying for a coveted seat on the council. If she earns the position, she'll decide who may cross her town's heavily guarded borders. On the other side, it's the same valley, the same town. Except to the east, the town is 20 years ahead in time. Ooh. To the west, it's 20 years behind. The towns repeat in an endless sequence across the wilderness. When Odile recognizes two visitors she wasn't supposed to see, she realizes that the parents of her friend Edme have been escorted across the border from the future on a morning tour to view their son while he's still alive in Odile's present. Edme, who is brilliant, funny, and the only person to truly see Odile, is about to die. Sworn to secrecy in order to preserve the timeline, Odile now becomes the consul's top candidate. Yet she finds herself drawn closer to the doomed boy, imperiling her entire future. This sounds so cool. It says for fans of David Mitchell, Ruth Ozekian, and Kazuo Ishiguro, so I'm totally into it. This is, again, a literary speculative novel. It's science fiction, guys. Get over yourselves. Womb City by Tolotlo Tasmase. I apologize. I can't pronounce anything. Neela seems to have it all: fame, wealth, and a long-awaited daughter growing in a government lab. But trapped in a loveless marriage to a policeman who uses microchip to monitor her every move, Neela's perfect life is precious. After a drug-fueled evening culminates in an eerie car accident, Neela commits a desperate crime and buries the body, daring to hope that she can keep one last secret. The truth claws its way into Neela's life from the grave. As the ghost of her victim viciously hunts down the people Neela holds dear, she is thrust into a race against a clock. In order to save any of her remaining loved ones, Neela must unravel the political conspiracy her victim was on the verge of exposing, or risk losing everyone. This seems really, really interesting. So I'm very excited about this one. The cover's gorgeous. Look at that cover. It's beautiful. So very excited. So these are the ones that I was approved of in NetGalley. There are a few that I asked for but didn't get approved for yet. Forge of the High Mage, which is a Malazan book by Ian C. Esselmont. So Tor has not approved me for this one yet. So, after decades of warfare, Malazan forces are poised to consolidate the Kwantali mainland. Yet it is at this moment that Emperor Keveled orders a new, some believe foolhardy campaign, the invasion of Falar that lies far to the north. And to fight on this new front, a ragtag army raised from orphaned units and broken squads is brought together under Fist Dujek and joined by a similarly motley crew under the command of the Emperor himself. So the Malazans head north, only to encounter an unlooked-for and most unwelcome threat. Something unspeakable and born of legend has awoken and will destroy all who stand in its way. Most appalled by this is the Empire's untrusted High Mage Taishren. All too aware of the true nature of this ancient horror, he fears his own inadequacies when the time comes to confront it. Yet confront it he must. So this is a prequel, very interesting. I am very into this, especially since I'm reading, Gardens of the Moon right now. So yeah, super cool. Or not right now. I mean, when I filmed this video, which was like 2 weeks ago. And Stations of the Tide by Michael Swanwick. This is a Taurus Essential. This is actually I think this is like a classic sci-fi that they've redone. So the Jubilee tides will drown the contents of the planet Miranda beneath the weight of her own oceans. But as the once-in-2 centuries cataclysm approaches, an even greater catastrophe threatens his dark and dangerous planet of tailspinners, conjurers, and shape-changers. A man from the Bureau of Prescribed Technologies was sent to investigate, for Gregorian has come, a genius renegade scientist and charismatic bush wizard. With magic and forbidden technology, he plans to make the rotting, dying world in his own evil image, and to force whom or whatever remains on its diminishing service toward a terrifying, astonishing confrontation with death and transcendence. So yeah, this is a, it's been 20 years or something since it first came out. I'm very curious about this. As you know, I love classic sci-fi. So this one isn't on NetGalley yet. I'm hoping it will be eventually. And this is Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. The planet of Kiln is where the tyrannical mandate keeps its prison colony, and for inmates, the journey there is always a one-way trip. One such prisoner is Professor Arten Dagdev, whatever. Xeno-ecologist and political dissident. Soon after arrival, he discovers that Kiln has a secret. Humanity is not the first intelligent life to set foot there. In the midst of a ravenous, chaotic ecosystem are the ruins of a civilization. But who are the vanished builders and where did they go? If he can survive both the harsh rule of the camp commandant and the alien horrors of the world around him, then Arton has a chance at making a discovery that might just transform not only Kiln but distant Earth itself. I love this. Very excited about this one. And then there's The Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey. As you know, James S.A. Corey is the author of the Expanse books. So how humanity came to the planet called Anjin is lost in the fog of history, but that history is about to end. The Karinks, part Empire, part Hive, have waged wars of conquest for centuries, destroying or enslaving species across the galaxy. Now they're facing a great and deathless enemy. The key to their survival may rest with the humans of Anjin. Caught up in academic intrigue and affairs of the heart, David Actor is pleased just to be an assistant to the brilliant scientist and the celebrated research team. Then the Carrick ships descend, disseminating the human population and taking the best and brightest of Anshin society away to serve in the Carrick's homeworld, and David is swept along with them. They are dropped in the middle of a struggle they barely understand, set in a competition against the other captive species with extinction as the price of failure. Only David and a handful of his companions see past the Darwinian contest to the deeper game that they must play to survive, learning to understand and manipulate the Carricks themselves. Sounds really fun. I really like The Expanse, so this sounds super cool. Very interested in this. And the last one I'm going to talk about, look at that cover, is Rakes Fall. Some stories take more than one lifetime to tell. There are wrongs that echo through the ages, friendships that outpace the claws of death, love that leaves their mark on civilization, and promises that nothing can break. This is one such story. Annalise and Leverett, met after the war, but before the peace. They found each other in a torn-up nation, peering through propaganda to grasp a deeper truth. And in a demon-haunted wood, another act of violence linked them and propelled their souls on a journey throughout the ages. No world can hold them, no life can bind them, and they'll never leave each other behind. But the journey will not be easy. In every lifetime, oppressors narrow the walls of possibility, shaping reality to fit their own needs. And behind the walls of history, the witches of the Red Web swear that every throne will fall. Tracing two souls through endless timelines, Rakes Fall is a virtuistic exploration of what stories can be. So it's cool because they keep getting reincarnated, I think. This sounds really, really neat. I really hope they put this one on NetGalley and they give it to me. So I lied, and that's not the end. I forgot 4 books. So the first one that I forgot was Gog Magog by Jeff Noon and Steve Beard. I received this arc from Angry Robot. The front cover is actually going to look like this. There's going to be 2 books, I guess. They're kind of like a duology, but the covers connect. I think that's really cool. So this book, it seems really interesting. As I said, Angry Robot sent it to me. Thank you very much. It comes out in early February, so I'll be reviewing that soon. So what is it about? Gog Magog tells the story of an epic journey through the 60-mile-long ghost of a dragon. Travels by boat, a rickety steam launch captained by veteran taxi pilot Caddy Mead on the River Nissus. In her heyday, Katie carried people and goods from the thriving seaports of the estuary into Ludwig, the capital city. Now she's drunk, holed up in a rundown seaside resort, telling her bawdy tales for shots of rum. All that's about to change when 2 strangers seek her out, asking for transport, one of whom, a young girl, is very ill and in great danger. The other, an artificial being of singular character, has secrets hidden inside his crystal skull. So begins the voyage of the Juniper. The Nissus is unlike any other river. Mysteries unfold with each port of call. Not many can navigate these channels, not many can know of its whirlpools and sandbanks and the ravenous creatures that lurk beneath the surface. Katie used to have the necessary knowledge and the powers of spectral navigation, but her glory days are well behind her now. This might well be her final journey. So yeah, this looks super cool, and I'm very excited to start it. The next one is another Angry Robot one that they emailed me and said, your copy's on the way. And I was like, oh, I forgot about this. The Last Phi Hunter, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, I'm sorry if I'm not, by Selene Goldenberg. It's apparently The Witcher meets Princess Mononoke. That sounds amazing to me. I love this cover. It's really cool. X, the youngest member of the Phi Hunter Order, has spent his life slaying the ghosts and demons of the Siorum Kingdom. While he takes great pride in his mystical trade, collecting dwindling bounties and peddling butchered spirit organs lacks the glory he craves. He's determined to hunt down Shar Allah, a demon of nightmares, of madness, who has eluded even X's masters. In a provincial village along the way, Aria, a charming Muyabaran champion, manages to save X from a brutal ass-kicking, despite being 9 months pregnant. In return, she asks him to escort her through the dangerous spirit-filled forest, where ghosts salivate over the scent of the unborn. Feeling responsible for Arinya's safety, X vows to help her return home. But as more of Arinya's spirits emerge and the elusive demon nears, X must face dangers from both men and monsters, or lose not only the respect and sanctuary of his guild, but also the woman he's trying not to fall in love with. So it's like a mythic dark fantasy. It sounds really neat, and I'm really interested in this. I've got 2 more. One, they just emailed me and said, hey, do you want this book? And I was like, sounds cool to me. And that's Withered by A.G.A. Wilmot. After the tragic death of their father and surviving a life-threatening eating disorder, 18-year-old Ellis moves with their mother to the small town of Blackstone, seeking a simpler life and some space to recover. But Blackstone feels off. It's a disquieting place surrounded by towns with some of the highest death rates in the country. It doesn't help that everyone says Ellis's new house is haunted. Everyone, including Quinn, a local girl who has quickly captured Ellis's attention. And Ellis has started to believe what people are saying. They see pulsing veins in their bedroom walls and specters in dark corners of the cellar. Together, Ellis and Quinn dig deep into Blackstone's past and soon discover that their town, and Ellis's house in particular, is the battleground in a decades-long spectral war, one that will claim their family and the town if it's allowed to continue. Sounds really cool. I'm super into this. The cover's cool too. And I got one more for you, and I'm going to actually review this. One of the first books I'm going to review of the year. I requested this on a whim. It's That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Yeah, I know. It comes out January 2nd, so I'm going to be reviewing it on like January 4th. As I said, I reviewed it kind of, I think I might have been under the influence of something, but I'm really excited about this. It sounds fun. Spice Trader Cinnamon's quiet life is turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with a fiery demon in this irreverently quirky rom-com fantasy that is sweet, steamy, and funny as hell. All she wanted to do was live her life in peace. Maybe get a cat, expand the family spice farm. Really, anything that didn't involve going on an adventure where an orc might rip her face off. But they say the goddess has favorites, and if so, Sin is certainly not one of them. After Sin saves the demon Fallon in a wine-drunk stupor, Fallon reveals that all he really wants to do is kill an evil witch enslaving his people. And who can blame him? But now he's dragging Cinnamon along for the ride, whether she likes it or not. On the bright side, at least he keeps burning off his shirt. See, this sounds really funny, and I really hope it's kind of like a cozy mystery as well, because I really liked Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust or whatever, but I found that the romance was kind of lacking in that one for me, and so this one seems a bit more spicy, and I'm super into it, so I hope you guys think it sounds like fun, because I think it sounds like really fun. So yeah, those are all the books that I am really interested in reading next year. As I said, I have a bunch of them already on NetGalley. There's just a few outstanding ones. So let me know in the comments which of these you're the most interested in. And if you get a copy of Alien Clay, can you share it with me?